Welcome back, guys. Equity Podcast. Coach Barrick here, where we're giving you the tools to be fit for life and expand your health span. We're doing that through fitness, nutrition, and accountability. Today, we're going to talk about nutrition. We have done a lot of new things with our nutrition program. We have really taken the next step in our nutrition journey and how we coach it and how we help others do that. So I want to break that down on how are we doing that, and what are some key takeaways that you can take into your life right now and start making changes. So the first thing is what we're going to focus on is a simple habit-based approach. So instead of focusing on, paleo or carnivore or vegetarian or keto or vegan, whatever, we don't care about how we get there. We want to focus on the habits and making it sustainable. Like I mentioned on that uptick, is what we're focusing on is trying to be fit for life and to expand our health span, to be healthier longer, to be able to be fit for life longer, to be able to do all the things we want to do longer. And if we just focus on doing these short-term challenges or these short-term fixes, like, hey, I have this thing, I'm going to the beach in the summer and I want to look good for that, and I'm just going to do carnivore for that or whatever it is, instead of, hey, how can I build a life to where I don't have to do a diet, where my diet is the true word, a diet. I am eating to support how I want to live. All right, so I don't have to be changing what I'm eating all the time. I'm always eating what I should be eating. So how we do that is focus on habits first. And we're not going to start with 100 habits. We're going to start with one. If we start with too much, it's like starting in the gym too hard. Like if you try to start on, January 1st and you do 6 days a week of 2-hour sessions plus eating nothing but salads, like it's not sustainable. We're not starting at somebody else's 5 years. We want to start where we're at now. So we're going to start with a single habit, and once we nail that one down, we can start adding some more. Right? We're going to add over time, and then what's going to happen is it's going to create a snowball. Right? That process is going to take a little bit of time, but that's good because that's where sustainability comes from. And then that snowball, you start picking up speed, and then it shoots out, right? That's what we're looking for, and that's the goal. Start slow to get that spike later. So we're going to focus on simple habit-based approach. The next thing is we're going to think of this in a holistic approach. We're going to think about this in 6 different areas. So we're going to think about nutrition, obviously, like what we're actually consuming. We're going to think about this in exercise or movement. How much am I moving throughout the week? We're going to think about our sleep. What kind of sleep are we looking at? We're going to think about our stress. We're going to think about our lifestyle, and then we're going to think about our support system. Those 6 things are all going to relate to each other. If you are stressed out at work or at whatever, you're more likely to eat food that is not ideal, right? That is very calorically dense, that is probably fat and carbohydrate loaded, super salty, crunchy, those type of things, whatever your kick is. How are you going to sleep when you're overstressed? Probably not well. So now in the morning, you're not going to feel great, and now we're going to go and, get a Starbucks with 1,000 calories in one drink, right? It's all related. Or if I'm not sleeping well, now I need that Starbucks, and now my stress is up and I'm all stimulated, right? It's all connected, right? If we don't have a support system around us, it just makes everything else harder. Whereas if you have somebody there to support you, if you have a team around you, if you have people around you, it makes it easier. How can we work on those 6 things, one habit at a time, and get better at those? Because one habit can hit multiples of those. We just had somebody that I love this story so much. We just had somebody start with us a month or two ago, and their first thing was to walk their dog with their kid. And you're like, well, that's not nutrition. However, if we dig a little bit deeper down into that, what is that person doing? They're doing a lot of things. One, they're out moving, right? So they're getting some exercise. Walking the dog, right? You need to do that in the morning, you need to do it in the evening, right? So let's do that in the evening with the kid, right? You have some connection there. You know, you're changing your lifestyle a little bit. You're getting outside. You're getting outside with your kid. You're having a conversation with them. Um, you're not sitting on the couch watching Netflix, eating pretzels or whatever, right? We're less stressed because we get out in nature, we're walking, we're able to breathe, we're able to do all these things. So it's going to affect all of these different things. We're not eating, it's hitting nutrition. We're walking more, it's hitting the exercise. It's going to wear us out, right? Walking the dog, just them pulling you and just being out there. That's going to probably help the sleep as well. Stress, you're just able to relax and just go for a walk. You're able to connect with your kid, right? That's just going to help everything. It's a really, really great habit to start with, right? A lot of people just start with water, right? That's going to do a lot of things for us as well. So, holistic approach, that's where we're going to look at the whole thing, not just what we're eating. That is a huge part of it, obviously, but we can look at other things as well. The next thing is it's the accountability, right? Most people generally know what they should be doing. Not all the time. Like, there's obviously education that we need to do throughout this process, and that we do. Hey, here's some good things. Here's some better options. Most of the time, it's not like good and bad. It's just better. Hey, this is doing really good, but how can we take it to the next level? Hey, you're doing really, really awesome. How can we take it? Like, we just want to up it a little bit. How do we continue that education? That is a big part of it. But one of the biggest issues that we find when people come to us, it's not that they don't know what to do, it's that they need the accountability. They need somebody there to talk to. They need somebody there to make sure that they're doing it. They need somebody to connect with about what they're consuming and what they're doing. And that is where the big the win is with our program, is having that accountability with somebody, having somebody there that's going to check in on you and make sure that we're doing that. We also have an app that tracks your habits, right? And that's to make sure that you have the accountability, right? It's the person being accountable to the person, but also that tracking in the app makes sure that we're doing it so we don't forget. And then if the coach sees it and we're not doing that, hey, we can check up. Hey, what's going on? Do we need to change it? Do we need to update it? What do we need to do to make sure that we're doing this to help get us to our goal? So accountability is a huge. The app also really, really awesome. It lets us track the app, our habits. It gives us access to education. It lets us communicate, a center point of communication. Lets us do tracking of meals and does a whole bunch of stuff. And it doesn't have to do everything, but it's going to do what we need it to do right now. So, hey, if it's taking pictures of our food, we're going to do that. If it's tracking our habit of walking, walking our dog every day, right? We're going to do that. We're going to be able to use whatever tool we need in the app to make sure that we're seeing success. When we're working with nutrition, like we've changed how we do this, right? We're making sure that we're focusing on the habits first, giving some education on, hey, these are what meals are going to be looking like. This is what we're doing. So our big one is that one-on-one accountability, that personal coaching with nutrition is going to be such a big win, and that's how you fast track your results, right? When you add movement, exercise, training with nutrition, that's how we speed things up. We're doing 2 challenges a year and that's just to kind of ramp us up, get us back on track, to make sure that we're checking in and making sure we're doing all the right habits. But those are short term. If you need that accountability and consistency, that's where the one-on-one really shows its value. So Coach Michelle is our head coach. She's the one that does most of our nutrition coaching, master in nursing. She has done this herself. Like, she has had such an amazing journey and story on her progress through the years of, dropping that weight, hitting that first goal that she wanted to, and then now adjusting to coming at it more of a performance side and making sure she's eating for performance. It's been really, really special to watch her. And then I support her as needed. If we have some overflow, I take those. I do some nutrition coaching as well. And I've had the same thing. I've had a lot of progress. I remember when we first started and just learning what paleo was, and that was the first step. And then really learning to make sure I'm fueling properly to perform well, and that's been a fun process, and helping people along that journey to make it a little quicker than my process is really rewarding. And that's why we do this, because we've seen it help us, we've seen it help other people. We have the pictures up on the wall of all the people that have seen progress, and it's really, really rewarding, and they've put in a lot of hard work to do it, and we love seeing it. So those are some of the things that we really have changed with our nutrition program, and it has been super fun. So I kind of teased at the beginning. I meant to do it earlier, but I got going. And there's 3 things I wanted to give you just to help you out with trying to improve your nutrition, right? And these are the 3 big tenets that we focus on for the nutrition on the education side, like making sure that we focus on these 3 things. This is the foundation where we're going to start all of our nutrition coaching. And the first one is to eat real whole food, right? And what do we mean by that? The food, the ingredients of it is that thing, right? A steak is a steak, a green bean is a green bean, a potato is a potato, right? Real whole food. If it has an ingredients list, we're going to try and limit that thing. The next one is we want to balance our meals. And when we mean by meals, we mean both meals and snack. Anytime you're consuming something, we want that to be as balanced as we can. Generally, when we're snacking, we're probably not eating one of the macronutrients, right? So we have protein, fat, and carbohydrates. We want to make sure we're getting all 3 with every meal, right? If we're just sitting on the couch watching TV, we're probably just getting carbohydrates, or we're just getting fat and carbohydrates, really calorically dense. We want to make sure that we're eating all 3. And the reason is when we consume all 3, both all 3 protein, carbohydrate, and fat, we feel fuller, right? That those 3 combined are going to make us feel more full, and we're less likely to overeat in the long run. When we're just eating one of those, we're just not getting that fullness, right? So balanced meals and snacks. And the last one is to limit processed foods and added sugar, especially processed carbohydrates and added sugar, right? Just looking at a label, again, if it has added sugar on it, we want to try and stay away from that as much as possible, right? If we're making some kind of, one of my favorite snacks is oats, yogurt, and fruit, and some nuts, some kind of fat added to that, or a full fat yogurt would work as well. Trying to limit adding something, added sugar, right? Honey or jelly or something to that, trying to not do that. Or when we're buying yogurt, making sure it doesn't have added sugar in it. Make sure we're not eating processed meats like, pepperoni and, all the processed meats. Or trying to eat Twinkies or, whatever, processed carbohydrates, all the pastries and whatnot. Trying to limit those as much as we can. Those are the big 3 tenets of our nutrition program, and those are where we're going to focus. Now, everybody's going to have a little bit different process, and we might start one habit differently than somebody else, but that's our base. One of the last things that I would really suggest is like, hey, I want to walk, but walking's kind of, is there something else I can do? Honestly, the best thing that you could probably do is walk with a pack. Walk with something heavy on you. And usually just wearing a backpack and just put some weight in it. So now what we're doing is we're getting some cardio work with the walking, and then we're also getting some mild strength as well. We're putting load on us. That's going to help our body be strong. It's going to help stress the bones to make sure that they're strong, right? Stress isn't a bad thing. Stress is a good thing. It's chronic stress that's bad. All right, so there's 4. There's an extra tip for you. All right, guys, I really, really appreciate it. Remember, we're trying to give you the tools to be fit for life so you can expand your health span. And we're doing that through fitness, nutrition, and accountability. I really, really hope this helped you. If it helped you, or do you think it might help somebody else, share it with them. We're trying to help people get fit for life. Thank you. Cheers.